Okay, so hopefully everyone can see my screen. And hopefully it's optimized on your screen so it's showing up full view. So again, thank you for joining us today. I realize that this is new ground for all of us. We've never done a virtual event on this scale before, although I think we're getting pretty good at virtual events, all of us, and virtual meetings the last couple of months. Let me start by saying virtual, at least for the time being, is reality. Every organization that hosts events has had to pivot to a virtual session or virtual setting, I should say, in the last few months. We know that this is not what you had in mind when you reserved your booth for this year. The world has changed, but we also recognize that our business partner members and our management companies still want to promote themselves and network with and get in front of the CAI audience. So this is our attempt. What we're going to go through today in the next 15 minutes is our attempt to put our best foot forward to make this the best event we can for all of you, given the circumstances that we've all been forced to navigate and deal with, and to make sure that our sponsors and exhibitors receive the best value for your investment. I can say that this is the direction that many other CAI chapters are also going in. Some of them have already made that decision. Connecticut, North Carolina, Washington State is considering it. Some of those events were scheduled in the spring. Some of them are coming up in the fall. And the other thing I want to say is that it's not possible that an event of this size can be hosted in person at this time. We have done our due diligence on this. We explored alternate dates at Valley Forge Casino in the fall. That didn't work out. We explored alternate venues in the fall, and that didn't work out. One venue in particular we negotiated with for a month, and they were not cooperative. And that's all I'll say about that venue. I'll not name them. And the final point here is that as we move into the green phase in Southeast Pennsylvania, there is a legal limit on events of 250 persons or more. We legally would not be able to host this event, even in the least restrictive green phase. A couple of weeks ago, when the governor announced that Southeast Pennsylvania was moving into the yellow phase, and we saw that we would likely be going green by mid to late June or early July, we asked our Legislative Action Committee lobbyists to reach out to the governor's office and find out if they could, what comes next, what comes after green. And they did, and the response from the governor's office, and I don't think this is surprising, is we don't know. We haven't thought that far ahead yet. So the reality is that we could get to September, announce this event as an in-person event, and we could get to September or mid-August and still be in the position of not being able to legally host it. So with all of that said, the chapter board of directors met a week ago today and made the decision. It was a unanimous decision that the best option right now for the organization, for the membership, and for all of you is that we do this event in a virtual setting. So here is what we have set up, and we'll go through it, and then I'll answer your questions. I have some demos that I'm going to show you as well towards the end. So first of all, the best practice seems to be, and we've done a lot of reading up on virtual events the last couple of weeks. There's a lot of resources out there. The best practice seems to be a multi-day event. So we're not forcing our exhibitors and our attendees to sit in front of a computer screen for 8 or 9 hours on one day. So our schedule is a 2-day event, 5 hours each day. The first day is morning sessions, and the second day is afternoon sessions. And we did that purposely so that we could preserve in a virtual setting all of the events we would have had if this event was in person, including the breakfast on day one and the after party on day 2. So we can host those events virtually and give the sponsors of those events proper recognition and visibility. So we'll be replicating every event that would have normally be held at this conference in person will now be virtual events. There will be dedicated exhibit hall time where the only thing on the schedule will be attendees visiting exhibit booths. We're building incentives in for attendees to still participate in this event, and we think they will. Attendance could be down, but given that it's a virtual setting, attendance could also be up. We've held a number of events virtually over the last few weeks, and we are not seeing any decrease in attendance so far. And that is because our members still need this information. And the good thing about a virtual setting is that we have members in Erie, Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in Harrisburg, Poconos, South Jersey. None of those individuals need to get in a car and drive an hour or 2 or 5 to attend this event. So we could see, and I'm not going to predict that, but we could see a more significant attendance than we typically do because of that. We're going to be giving away thousands of dollars in cash prizes like we always do. We're raising that amount as an incentive for attendees to participate. And in order to qualify to win those cash prizes, we're going to do a trivia contest that will include questions from all of you, from our exhibitors. And the only way the attendees can get the answer to your trivia question is to visit your virtual exhibit booth. So that's a way for us to force attendees to visit your booths. We will have general and concurrent educational sessions, and those will be for continuing education credits. We're mixing up the topics. We're making a little bit of a change from the breakout sessions that we had previously announced, so that we have general education topics on community association issues, but that we also don't ignore the elephant in the room, which is coronavirus. And we will be building in some new topics around coronavirus, specifically about the recovery phase. And we think those will be of interest to our attendees. All of the live sessions on the virtual conference platform will be recorded for on-demand viewing. And what that means is managers who attend our annual conference and expo normally in an in-person setting would only be able to qualify for 2 or 3 continuing education credits. In this virtual event with the recorded sessions, those are going to be made available to all attendees. All of the 7 educational sessions will be made available at no extra charge to all of the attendees for viewing after the fact. And so what that means is instead of only being able to get 2 or 3 education credits, managers can get the full 7 continuing education credits, either in the live setting, because they'll have to pick a breakout session, and then in the aftermath, in the on-demand format, the managers will be able to view the sessions they couldn't attend in the live setting. We also will be mailing a swag pack to all attendees in mid to late August. And that's going to include sponsor material so that we can get information into the attendees' hands for all of our sponsors. Their name badge, they will get a name badge with a lanyard provided by our sponsor. They will get a lunch credit, either Uber Eats or DoorDash or a similar service, so that they can order lunch to be delivered to either their home or their office, wherever they're participating from. So that we could have a virtual event and all have a communal meal together, so to speak. And then as usual, many of our exhibitors typically give out door prizes at the in-person event, and we presume many of our exhibitors will still do that in the virtual setting. So there's a lot of incentives for managers and homeowners to attend this event. And as I said, we could see an increase in attendance because of the virtual setting. So let me address our sponsors first. All of our sponsors are going to be listed on the virtual conference webpage. We've listed them all on a separate page in the July-August issue of the magazine, which went to the printer today. And we will do the same in September and October's magazine so that we can give additional value to our sponsors. They will all be listed in the conference program book as usual. And we are going to ask sponsors of various events during the conference to serve as hosts. So the lunch sponsors will host the lunch. The networking party sponsors will host the networking party and announce the prize winners. Sponsors can use a portion of the time during that virtual event to show a video or give a short educational talk so that we can give face time to our sponsors. We'll also provide a virtual background. You can see the virtual background that Mike and I are using. We'll have sponsor logos on that background for the actual live event. For our major sponsors, any sponsorship that includes an exhibit booth, we'll be doing a few extra things. We will be providing, they'll have the opportunity to provide a promotional item to get mailed out in the attendee swag pack, and we'll follow up with all those sponsors separately. We're also going to be doing a promotional campaign via email, on our social media pages, etc., including videos, commercial videos promoting the sponsorships that we will encourage our sponsors to create and send to us. And we can give tips on how to create those videos, including some sample platforms. And those sponsors will also have the opportunity to submit a flyer, a company flyer, promotional flyer that we will mail out in the attendee swag pack as well. So what will the virtual trade show look like, and what are the benefits of this virtual exhibit hall setting? I think the most important thing that I want to highlight is that for an in-person event, whether that was on May 9th or July 9th or whatever date, you would have had as an exhibitor 1 day of promotional value. And in reality, since the exhibit hall is only open about 5 hours, you would have had 5 hours of promotional value. The real beauty of a virtual event is that exhibitors will get months of promotional value and potential interaction with attendees out of this event. And I'll explain that, and I'll show the demonstration in the coming a few minutes, few slides. There is a digital floor map that will lay out all of the booths and an alphabetical listing of exhibitors. That actually exists now, and I'll show you that. And that will be live really through any time that CAI decides to turn that page off. We plan on having it live for at least 2 months after the September event. And we're going to promote that. So your digital exhibitor page will be there essentially from now through, we'll probably leave it up through the end of the year until such time as we start promoting next year's trade show. We also will be providing exhibitors who stick with us and don't cancel a $250, let me get my cat out of the camera, sorry about that, a $250 credit for your booth at the May 13th and 14th, 2021 event, which is scheduled to take place at Valley Forge Casino. You will also get priority booth selection and this year's exhibit rates for the 2021 event. So each exhibit will include the things that you see on your screen: company description, links to your website, links to your social media pages. You can select the business categories that apply to you, similar to the CAI membership directory. Unlimited exhibitor resources means you can upload PDFs or PowerPoints, any kind of product flyers, promotional brochures, etc., to your digital page. And you can also post company videos. So again, you could record a 30-second video or a minute-long video that talks about your company, the products and services you provide. You could do a product demonstration. You could do a tour of your facilities, whatever the case may be. And that can get posted to your digital booth. You will be able to schedule appointments with attendees. And so that's why we're going to be doing this 2-month promotional campaign before the event, to encourage attendees to make an appointment to meet with you virtually during the live event. Attendees will be able to virtually walk in to your booth and join your exhibit staffer's Zoom account. You can plug in multiple Zoom accounts, and that way you can actually have a face-to-face connection with the attendees rather than just, you know, a chat window. You'll be able to see the attendees and interact with them face-to-face via Zoom. And we will also be including all of the exhibitors in the conference program book, which all participants will get. You will also get, and this is new, a complimentary attendee mailing list for any attendee that opts in. So when attendees register, they'll be given the opportunity to opt in to share their contact information with exhibitors and sponsors. And we will send that to you with their contact information. We also are going to be doing a digital, creating digital collateral material that you can use to promote your exhibit booth at the event, including social media images, email signatures, banner ads that you can use on your own pages. And each exhibitor will get 2 complimentary registrations for the entire virtual conference so that you can also participate in the networking events that are taking place throughout the 2 days. We have some premium exhibitors. As you know, in our exhibit hall, there are premium exhibit booths. And so there are some additional incentives that we're building in for these premium exhibitors. We will be doing a full page listing of all the premium exhibitors in the fall issue of Community Assets, which will come out right before the event. We'll be doing some special premium exhibitor promotional email blasts to the membership. And we will be giving you complimentary participation in the virtual component of next year's event. So all of the stuff that we just talked about, the virtual setting and the demonstration that I'm going to show you in a second, we're going to replicate that for 2021. Even though next year's event will be an in-person event, there's value in a virtual component. We can have your exhibitor information on the website for months at a time. And again, we can promote that for months at a time. That will be an add-on for exhibitors next year, but any premium exhibitor that participates this year will get that complimentary. And then we'll be doing a social media campaign for premium exhibitors as well. So the platform that we are using is called Event Rebels. And this is the same site that you registered for when you signed up to exhibit. And I am going to turn off the PowerPoint and take you to the virtual platform. Bear with me here, it's not showing on my screen.
Hey, Tony, while you're doing that, I just had a thought when you said that you were going to give everybody the, the option to opt in. Maybe some people, might not want to opt into everything. Maybe we could have categories, like you can opt in, get all the names of engineers, get all the names of pool contractors, get all the names of attorneys, so that maybe in case they feel like, oh, we don't want to get information from everybody, we could maybe do something like that. I don't know if that's possible.
We can look and see if that's possible, Terry. So hopefully you're all seeing my screen again. So this is the CAI digital map. I'm actually going to take you to a different map for a different event. So this is obviously no relation to our event, but this is the platform. This has a little bit of the different functionality already built in. So when you click on an exhibitor booth, this is the digital page that you will see: your company name, your booth number, your contact information, your address, your logo, a company description with your website link, though you can put social media links in here. Your categories, so clearly we're not going to have winemaking as a category, but engineer, reserve studies, landscaping, engineers, whatever the normal categories are in the CAI member directory will be listed here, and you can choose those that apply to your company. So there will be additional tabs up here. This functionality has not yet been released. It'll be released in the next week or two, where you'll be able to upload videos, plug in your Zoom meetings, and that's where your actual virtual component will be, where an attendee can come here and enter your Zoom room and have that face-to-face connection with you. So this is the CAI version of this. This is where we have sold exhibit booths. So if you click on, and so over here on the left side, you see the alphabetical listing of exhibitors. I'm going to click on DW Smith. You'll see the booth gets highlighted in yellow. And then when you go to the booth, right now we only have contact and profile. But again, you'll be able to upload your logo, pick the categories, put your videos up here, post PDFs, post PowerPoints, excuse me, and input your Zoom information. Up here, if I click on the little envelope, I can send an email directly to the primary contact for this exhibit booth. So this is live now. We haven't started promoting it yet because we're encouraging exhibitors to completely fill out this information. So if you haven't done it yet, I would encourage you to do that. You can find that on the exhibitor website, which is here. And so here's the top of the page. If you scroll down, here's the link to, make your decision about this year's event and let us know what your plans are. Click here to log into your exhibitor record. You'll need your email address. You'll need the email address of the individual who purchased your booth and an ID number. If you don't have that, we can send it to you. And that will take you to your individual exhibitor page where you can put your profile in, your links, your PDFs, your videos, etc. We will notify you when the new release is out with the additional functionality. We're expecting that in early July. And then the other thing I want to show you, so I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint for 1 second. So that's the platform. There's another way for you to connect and message attendees in advance of the event. Invite them to your booth, invite them to make an appointment, and that's through our new website online community. We launched this in April, and there's a lot of great functionality here for you to use. I'm gonna go back to the website. Sorry for all the back and forth. So from the chapter homepage, you hit the login button here at the top and type in your email address and password, and we can get that for you if you don't remember what your password is, or we can reset that for you. And then you want to go to My Social Feed. So this is the online community. It's basically Facebook for CAI. You can post updates and have people respond, ask questions, and share information. Up here under Quick Links, you go to the community calendar. You can also click on the logo, and that'll take you to the homepage where you can get to the calendar. If you click on any event, so I'm going to click on tomorrow's Poconos Virtual Staff Training Symposium. Over here, there's a link. It says view the 37 people who have already registered for this event. So these are all the individuals who have registered for tomorrow's event. If you click on the little person logo, you can view their profile. And from there, you can send a connection request and you can message them. So this is a great resource in advance of the trade show. That event's not here yet, so I can't take you to that particular event, but you'll be able to see everyone who is registered for the trade show, assuming they click yes to having their name displayed, and most people do. And you'll be able to connect with them, message them, invite them to your booth, invite them to make an appointment. So that's another resource that exhibitors can use to get some additional value out of the virtual event. So that is what we wanted to present. We'll be sending out more information in the coming weeks. and making sure that you're getting all of the benefits fulfilled that come with the booth. I'm sure there's questions, so let me stop talking. Let me make sure everyone is unmuted. Actually, you should be able to unmute yourself and then ask a question, or you can also ask a question in the chat. So questions.
Tony, it's Jackie Silveri. Can you hear
Hi,
me?
Jackie, how are you?
Hi, good. I probably have too many questions, but I have a few.
Sorry.
So you mentioned the digital collateral that we could use to promote ourselves for the show. Does that include your sponsors, your platinum sponsors? Are they on that collateral as well? And there's a reason I ask, because I have competitors that are heavy sponsors. It might be platinum sponsors. I don't want to promote them on that digital collateral.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
It does not include Premier Partners unless they purchased a trade show sponsorship. So for example, in your business, ServPro is the Wi-Fi sponsor. So they'll get sponsorship benefits, some of the sponsorship benefits that I outlined. But not
so if I'm going to promote the digital collateral that you're making for us, it's going to have their logo on
sorry.
it? No,
Yeah, no, I misunderstood your question. No, the only logo that you will see on the general promotional stuff that we will be putting out is the so you see the logo behind me, McAdams logo. They're the presenting sponsor of the event. Their logo will be on everything.
Okay.
But not everybody's logo will be on everything. So the images that we provide to exhibitors for your email signature or your social media pages, they'll have the McAdam logo, but they won't have other sponsors' logos.
Okay. Another question, when you showed the layout of the floor, I mean, is there a way you can show us what it will look like as the attendee comes? Are they just going to sign into the site and click on the map to each booth and maybe see someone there?
So there's going to be a virtual conference platform, which I can't show you yet because it's not set up, but it's basically going to look like CAI's website. That's where attendees will go to sign into the sessions, the general session, the breakout sessions, the networking sessions. And on that page will be a link to the digital exhibit, a digital virtual or digital exhibit hall. And that will look like the map that I showed you with the alphabetical listing of exhibitors. And they click on the exhibitor name and then click on the booth, and that's how they get into your digital page.
So if you had clicked on my booth and it was showtime, would they then see me sitting here on Zoom waiting for them to come or not?
No,
Okay.
they'll see your company name, your logo.
What you showed us.
Yes, they
Right,
will have
okay.
to click on your Zoom link in order to enter your Zoom room.
Okay.
And again, let me emphasize the trivia contest. We're going to ask you for a trivia question for the contest. It can be anything you want it to be. It can be about your company or something totally unrelated to your company. How you provide the answer is up to you. If you don't want attendees to be able to get the answer unless they come into your Zoom room, that's perfectly fine. I would encourage you to do that. That way you are giving a really strong incentive for attendees to enter your Zoom room and have a conversation with you.
So for the time frame of the 2 days, are we actively, I don't mean it like this, but I mean sitting here for the 5 hours, or are there 2-hour time blocks or something?
There are 2 to 2.5 hour time blocks each day. It's up to you if you want to be there and have the room open for the entire 5 hours.
Okay, because you mean they could come in outside of the 2-hour
Correct.
time, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then as far as attendees at this point, do you have people that are registered that are coming? Can you share with us any kind of numbers of what we could expect compared to what we've done in the past?
Sure. We have about 30 people registered right now who registered back in March in anticipation of the May event. We took the event down in April, and what's been down basically since early May because of the uncertainty about the event. We'll be opening registration probably in the next week or two. typical attendance at an in-person trade show, strictly manager and homeowner attendees, is between 350 and 400 attendees. You know, our plan is that will be down, but we won't know until we start opening registration and seeing what the responses are.
And how about on the, I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. The exhibitor side, are there people that have committed already? Is there a fair amount of people? Will the show be as big as it was or close to it?
That's hard. It's hard to say how big the show will be. We have had some cancellations. We had some cancellations back in April, and those individuals have already received their refunds. We have interest from one or two of those in coming back now that it's a virtual event. And we've gotten some cancellations and some, you know, roll my participation over into 2021 so far. Most of the exhibitors have not responded yet. So
Okay.
obviously our hope is that most of the exhibitors will participate, but you know, it's going to be a smaller event than it normally would be given the circumstances.
And the Event Rebels platform, is that something that we could go to outside of this meeting to see if we can see a sample of it happening? I mean, you must have seen something that, you know what I'm saying? To see it as if it were actually the show, not our show, someone else's show, just
Right. Not yet. The
Okay.
platform, the next release of the platform is due to come out in early July. And so once that's available, we should be able to send you something.
Okay.
There's multiple releases coming as they build out the additional functionality.
Okay. That's all my questions. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me see.
Tony, following up on Jackie's question. So during this 5-hour time period, just to clarify what Jackie asked, but are we, I guess we have the option of whether we want to be live in our own Zoom space for people who come to our site, or we're just showing up, you know, with our logo in the background and just some of the basic profile information. How is that intended to work?
So your digital exhibitor page, let me go back to the map. Your digital exhibitor page will be there. You don't have to do anything to have the page show up when someone clicks on your digital booth. Bear with me here. So this page, and you know, we're gonna modify the page. It still has the old logo on it for the old theme. This will be there. When they click on your booth, this information will be there. They'll be able to watch your video. They'll be able to download your PDFs. They'll be able to email you from this link. You don't have to you don't have to sit there and monitor this. They can visit this. They can visit this now if they want to. During the dedicated exhibit hall time, I would strongly recommend that you have someone in your open Zoom room or other. I see there's a comment in the chat about using something other than Zoom, whatever, you know, virtual meeting service you want to use, so that if an attendee does come in, there's someone there to greet them. And you can have other staff members. You don't have to have just one person sitting there for the entire time. It's up to you. So I would definitely be in the Zoom room in the 2-hour or 2.5 hour dedicated exhibitor expo hall hours, so to speak. Outside of that 2 to 2.5 hours, people can randomly pop into your room. You can have the Zoom room open with a message that says, you know, leave a message in the chat and we'll follow up, or something like that. That way you know someone was there. But it's up to you if you want to sit there for the full 5 hours and have your Zoom room staffed, so to speak. Did I answer that sufficiently? I know it's hard to visualize.
Hi there. I just have a quick question regarding the dedicated time. Is that dedicated time that they're in the virtual exhibitor map area, or dedicated that they're in a breakout room?
No, it's dedicated, it's dedicated as virtual exhibit hall time.
Okay.
So there will be very little overlapping with that 2 to 2.5 hour time period on both days. There will be some overlap, but the majority of that time period will be strictly for visiting exhibit booths.
Gotcha. And so then it's just up to the attendees whether they want to join the Zoom meetings or not, or just
Correct.
look at the. Okay.
Correct.
Gotcha.
As it is in an actual exhibit hall,
Yeah.
they may
Yeah.
walk by your booth and stop in or not.
Okay.
Tony, once attendee registration reopens, will they get an understanding as we are today on how this will work, just to grow interest and some sort of comfort level that it will be a lot more interactive than what they may initially think this is going to be?
Yeah, I mean, we can do Zoom sessions like this. We can do a video. I think it's particularly important that they understand how they're going to go from session to session, because it's not going to be one continuous Zoom stream. You're going to go one place for the general session, then that meeting will end and you're going to go into another Zoom room for the breakout session that you registered for, and a different Zoom room for the virtual lunch. And I also think it's helpful that we explain how the digital exhibit hall is going to work. So we can certainly do that. We can either do a live session like we're doing here, or we can do a short video and actually show them the platform, again, once it's available and once we build it out, so that they understand what they're going to see during the live event.
Great.
Hey, Tony, there's some questions in the chat about whether people need to use Zoom or they can use GoToMeeting. So everybody gets the same answer. Can we just address that with the group?
Yes, as far as, and I will clarify this, but as far as I understand, it's simply putting a link in there. So you should be able to link to any virtual meeting service, whether it's Zoom or Microsoft Teams or GoToMeeting, or a Google Hangout, whatever you use. I will clarify that, but I'm pretty sure that that's the case.
Thanks.
I see Deborah Borzillo asked if this meeting will be available to view online again. Yes, we're recording this session and we are going to post it on our website so that those who couldn't be here can view it, and you can view it again.
Yes, Tony, this is Thurman Browninger with Clean Air Council.
Hi, Thurman.
Hi, how you doing? A great presentation, thanks. It made things a lot clearer here today, so I appreciate it. A question, as far as support for the website, is that going to be lent by the folks from Event Rebels or from your organization, or any technical assistance we might need?
Yes, both. We will have a dedicated project manager from Event Rebels, and the CAI staff will also be able to assist you.
Great, thanks.
Johnny, I'm sorry, can I ask you another question?
Sure, Jackie.
If you were an attendee and you came to my booth and you clicked on my Zoom link and you and I were here, and then Mike showed up and wanted to click in, would all three of us then be connected?
You
Or
can,
how would that work?
so that's up to you. You can do a number of things. You can have so just like we're doing now, as many people as your Zoom account allows can come into your Zoom room at any given time. Our account, we pay $14.99 a month, and we have a capacity of 100 people. You can go up to 500. I don't think you'll need more than 100, and you only need this for 1 month. So in terms of the expense, there's not a significant expense there.
Right.
If you set it up with a waiting room, like when you joined today, you went into a waiting room and we had to permit you to enter. You can control entrance that way, or you could just leave it open and have people
Whoever
come
wants,
in.
right.
That's completely up to you.
Okay.
There are also some accounts through Zoom that will allow you to set up breakout rooms. So you could have a private meeting and then have, the general room serve as your waiting room. I don't know all the specifics about that, It really depends on the account. And in terms of other meeting video sites like GoToMeeting, that kind of thing, they all vary by mileage in what they offer. So if you have those kind of accounts, you'd have to check with them. But Zoom has quite a number of different ways that you could set it up. So you could do one big meeting, or you could do several small meetings. A lot of that may depend on staffing, how many people you have available from your
Right.
company that can meet it at any one time. It might make sense if you're a one-person show to just have one general room, and that really will depend on your company.
So I think I have the same type of account that goes up to 100 people, but I'm thinking more for myself. If I was physically at the show, 3 people may come up to my booth at the same time. So I might leave it open, but I'm curious what other potential exhibitors here think. What would you all be thinking about doing?
So we did a virtual expo last week, and we actually had 2 separate breakout rooms on top of our actual room, and we broke it out into expertise. I had a New Jersey and a New York executive VP on the call, so I broke it off into the 2 rooms. And then if anybody was to come into the room that needed to speak with anybody from New York, I'd push them off into New York so that you didn't have people waiting.
Okay.
I think ultimately we want to look at this as if a normal trade show. You may not know exactly what your return on investment is going to be at the end of the day. You may not know how the quality of people that are going to come through your booth. But ultimately, the chapter is providing an opportunity for us to be able to still do this, which some other chapters just full on canceled their expos. So the opportunity for us to be able to have people technically walk the show and still get to see the familiar faces, I think is amazing. I think what you guys have put together is going to be great. And I'm personally really excited to see whether I have 5 visitors in my booth or 25, I'll be thrilled. So are we thinking of maybe doing like a little training on how to set up breakout rooms and maybe how to, utilize Zoom to the best way possible so that everybody can feel comfortable going into this?
We are. So we have a committee within CAI that's working on a variety of different training videos. And one of their main focuses, now that we're moving this event to a virtual setting, is to do, how to Zoom kind of session. We're not going to be able to cover, every video service out there, but since Zoom is the one that we're focused on most, we'll definitely have one for that. With the different things and how you can work that. And just to get back to Jackie's question one more second, what I would probably do, and it's going to vary by exhibitor, I would probably treat it like a general trade show where you can have everybody come at once if they want to, and then you can set up private meetings later.
Right.
Whether by video or by phone or even on another day. That's probably the way I would go, but it's really going to be up to you.
Okay. Thanks.
There's a question from a little while ago in the chat from Jim Greisenmer. Can we have our booth as a backdrop that can be seen in the room with in-person face-to-face meetings? Jim, I think the answer to that is you can see my virtual background here. You can upload any kind of image as your virtual background. If you have a photo of your booth from last year or from another event, you can upload that as your virtual background. And that will be there as long as your Zoom room is open, even if you're not in the picture. I mean, I can leave the camera right now for the most part, and that image will be there as long as I leave this room open. So people who come in can see whatever image you have up there as long as your video is on. So that's another way that you can promote. You can put an image up there with your web address or with a message from your organization. Or I think it's a great idea if you put a photo up of your booth from a previous event, kind of gives the impression of actually being in your booth at a live in-person event, which we would all love to be at in September, or we would all love to be at actually probably today.
Theoretically, if you wanted to set your booth up in your garage, you could have it live. That's up to you. The only note I would make is that the quality of your webcam could matter. For Tony and I, the background is working pretty well. Sometimes it doesn't work as well, and you'll see people kind of fade into the background and look a little bit ghostly, and that really is a matter of the camera. But yeah, certainly you could do a photograph. You could set up your booth in your garage if you wanted to, and that would work just as well.
Yeah, a lot of factors. Lighting, for instance, with me being washed out and versus you guys who have good lighting. I was thinking that that might be a nice way to remind people of who we are versus, you know, just having a backdrop there that you know, doesn't necessarily, you know, has a name there, but may not necessarily list some of the different services that we provide.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. There's a question from Ryan, similar to Michael's question. I worry it's a bit complicated for HOA to navigate the interface. Any particular reason to do the floor plan when we no longer have a floor plan? Two separate questions there. So let me just comment on homeowner members and managers being able to navigate virtual events, because we've hosted quite a few virtual events recently. We haven't seen any problems other than maybe some connection with audio issues. We did a membership survey, which we'll actually be putting some of the results on the website in the next coming days. And we asked this question of managers and homeowners and business partners: how comfortable are you attending virtual events? And overwhelmingly, our members say they are comfortable attending, they understand the platforms, or they say, I'm comfortable, but I could use, you know, some tips. And so that's why we're creating the Pulse Committee is creating a tech sessions, we're calling them, on how to use Zoom. With regards to the floor plan, we can talk to Event Rebels and find out if we even need the map, because I agree the map is, for lack of a better term, quaint, because there is no floor plan anymore. We'll talk to them and see if we can eliminate the map and expand the alphabetical listing of exhibitors. And we'll see if they can do that. Any other questions that we can answer for you? We have a few members of the trade show committee, the annual conference committee, on the meeting this morning, including our chair, Steve Goddard, if he's still here. Steve, do you want to say anything before we wrap up?
Sure. First off, I used to be a business partner, so I understand the situation you guys are in very well. This is obviously new for all of us, but I'm going to take this back to my company and I'm going to sell this to the managers, because Zooming at this point isn't a big deal. We all do it 10 times a day. So what I want to do is become a champion of this event, because I think what you guys have done is fantastic. And this is such a huge challenge. And like Nicole mentioned earlier, a lot of other chapters looked at this mountain and said, nope, we're not climbing it. Delaware Valley said, yep, we're climbing it and we're going to the top. So I applaud all of you for doing that. And we're going to champion this. And I don't know whether it was said or not, but the conference committee is going to be available for assistance both days. So you'll be able to reach out to us and you continue what you're doing. And I'm going to go get the answer to your question in the background, so you can continue to maximize your opportunity in front of everybody, because that's what you really want to do as a business partner. You have an opportunity to maximize your time with the managers, who are often the key decision makers. So we're going to make this the best user experience we can for all of you.
Thank you, Steve. Any other questions? All right, well, I hope you found this useful. We appreciate you taking some time today. Follow up with any of the staff members if you have a question that comes up later. Let us know what your plans are. We certainly hope that many of you will continue to exhibit and benefit from this event. We've tried to build in some powerful incentives for you to stick with the event. I know that the attendees that are going to attend in September want to see you, and I know you want to see them. So hopefully this meets your expectations. Hopefully this exceeds your expectations. As I said at the outset, we are trying to create virtually the best event you will ever attend. So again, thank you. And we hope to see you at the event in September, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.